I'm joined by Will O'Donoghue. Will, first thing I want to ask you, coming up against your clubmate Shane O'Neill as manager of Galway, is that would you have been in contact with him much during the year? It's kind of a funny one.
To be honest, like I know stuff is trying to be made of it, and there's trying to be a significance played on it. But even if Shane was playing for Galway on Sunday, it would mean absolutely nothing to me. I get on well with Shane. We would have been, we'd had a very good working relationship and a friendly relationship while he was Na Piarsaigh manager, and continue to do so. Shane only lives around the corner. Um, but for me personally, it has absolutely no bearing on what's coming Sunday, and there's no emotion and kind of attachment to the sentiment, if you like, of the occasion. To be honest, couldn't be further from the cut and trust of what's going to go on Sunday.
Yeah. But you would have soldiered together well, winning All Ireland, that type of stuff is obviously.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, fantastic memories. And had an influence in my career, like all my coaches in the Piarsaigh, be it underage with Bernie Buckley, Paul Condon, Conor Shields, guys like this, help you develop as a player and a person, and Shane was no different. So I mean, of course there's that element, but I just can't stress how non-sentimental I am.
Yeah, that's coming across pretty strongly here. Yeah,
I know, but I don't mean it I don't mean it in any. Shane would be the exact same way. And I mean, I understand the whole media spin on it is that there's sentiment, and Shane knows us inside out. And Shane couldn't care less either, I'd imagine. So.
What about the other Shane then, Shane Dowling? He's gone from being a teammate to a media pundit. Would you even realise when he's kind of commentating on your other games?
Shane, I haven't heard any of the commentary, to be honest. I think he's doing the radio at Live 95.
Yeah, he does it on a couple of days.
I'm sure anyone listening now would get good entertainment out of it. But if it was the TV, you might notice it if you watch it back. But with it being the radio, I wouldn't get a chance to hear him. Really saying.
Are you happy with how you've been going this season? Obviously, good wins against Clare, battered my Tipperary, and then a very good test against Waterford the last day.
Yeah, I think, again, the whole punditry side of it is trying to build Limerick up and saying, it's been successful and they've won this and they've won that. But every single one of those games were hugely, hugely competitive and could have flipped on a knife edge. Teams are so close these days that there could be 10 turning points in a game that, an event happens where something could, kick on in the back of it. Or, you look at the Waterford game, there was probably so many instances, if you were in the Waterford camp, where you'd look at it and say, here was a serious building block or momentum or turn where we could have built and changed the direction of the game. Same against Tipperary, they probably had a play or two where they got turned over and we might have gone up and got a score. And games aren't just that clear cut that you win by a margin and that's how much better you were than a team, or that's not how. I understand that's how it's judged in winning and losing, but it's not judged in terms of how close teams are to one another. Yeah. So I think we're very happy with where we're going to have. Someone told me at the start of the year you'd win a Munster, beating Clare, Tip and Waterford all in the space of about 3-4 weeks. That'd be an incredible achievement. So I don't think that's lost on us how big of an achievement that is.
Yeah, and so do you also feel this thing? People do get carried away with calling you invincible when you lost 3 games last year. Yeah, but the strength of your panel just does seem incredible. That you can lose 2 of your full back line. I know Richie's back training now and in the panel, but that you can still look like you're not missing a beat.
Yeah, but I mean, every panel has 36 players, and you're saying that about our panel because we were forced through injury to try and exploit Dan at cornerback, try Barry at cornerback, and the 2 have excelled. But I mean, any other team is probably capable of that. They just haven't had to, I suppose, haven't been unfortunate enough that 2 players have got, long-term injuries that have forced their hand like that. But, all teams at the minute have players so versatile in terms of their athletic ability and their hurling ability that, probably more has been made of our panel at the minute because we're being forced to try and, explore new things and put guys in different positions. But this whole tag, of favourites and all that, you saw how it panned out last weekend for the football teams involved. And I just think that there's probably 8 to 10 teams who are incredibly close in terms of quality and again, athletic performance and whatnot that on any given day could beat anyone. So I mean, the notion that that there's ranking or one team would be favoured to beat another, like I said, there could be 10 turning points in a game where any of those 8 to 10 teams could capitalise on and beat any other team. So I mean, it's very, very competitive.
It's a couple of years ago at this stage when you won the All-Ireland, but I was just looking through it there. Can you tell me your memories of coming on? I think you came on with 5 or 6 minutes to go, something like that.
Yeah, it all went downhill when I came on.
Yeah, but can you just give me your memories of trying to come in, because you'd gone a nice few points ahead and then all of a sudden Galway just came flying back at you and you're probably just trying to hang on.
Yeah, I alluded to this point there a few minutes ago in a different chat there. It was kind of, it would probably be more nerve-wracking to be in the stand than it would be to be playing. Because when you're playing, you can't really pay much heed of what's going on or the fact that they've scored and there's only X amount of points in it. You're just, I suppose, the ball hits the net and you're trying to get back out for the puck out and trying to get to where you should be for, I know it's cliche, but for, the next phase of play or whatever. And it definitely would have been more nerve-wracking if you're above in the stand.
And were you fully calm when you came in? How difficult is it to get into a game like that when it's in the heat of the hunt?
I suppose it is. To be honest with you, it's about 28 months ago now. My memory isn't that solid, but it is very difficult, I suppose, to get to that pitch from being, you can do your little warm up, you can do what you want, but essentially you're going from sitting down and watching a game to being in the middle of it within 30 seconds, within maybe a minute or two. So, you do have to be, when you are a sub, I suppose, prepared and mentally prepared that you will be called in an instance, and there probably is no time to be tuned out while watching on, because you'll be required to be at such a level so quickly. So
it's only after occurring to me now as we're talking. I didn't think of it when I was putting together a few questions, but a lot of you Limerick players put together charity type videos during the summer, and you did, I'm pretty sure, did you do one as Tom Cruise or something like that, reenacting something from a movie? Can you tell me what that was again?
Yeah. Hugh Grant in Love Actually.
Yeah. That was brilliant, to be fair. What was the inspiration behind that, and was it good crack putting it together?
Yeah, well, it was fairly stressful here now. You'd swear I was Steven Spielberg. I was roaring at my sisters, recorded here, move there, do this, do that. No. But it was. I mean, it was a fantastic charity there. It was for Milford Hospice. And a lot of us, you're putting up a video of you doing something potentially very stupid, and, it would be outside a lot of people's comfort zones. And, it's just nice, I suppose, to put yourself in that environment to do something for the betterment of, an organisation or something like that, and do something that could be uncomfortable with in terms of the thought of it, and trying to make it as fun and as good crack as possible. So it was a great initiative, and like I said, I think €30,000 was raised for Milford Hospice, which is, I'm sure a lot of people around Limerick and the region have been affected. I've had the use of Milford Hospice in terms of a loved one or something, so to be able to give back to a charity like that is fantastic.
And as you were about to press send on releasing this on social media, are you kind of nerve-wracking, is it?
It is. You went, oh no, and then you just kind of throw it up, and you're going to get slagged anyway, so you may as well have cracked on it, because you're going to get it off someone. So
yeah, a couple other guys did some good ones. I think Keane Lynch's dancing, we saw that again. And did Tom Condon do a really good one?
Tom did Freddie Mercury on the AO thing. Yeah.
Was he on top of a roof at his house or something like that?
Yeah, I think they were building. Yeah, and he was up on the roof. It was brilliant. A lot of fellas were really thinking outside the box for it as well. So
yeah, that's great.
You'd be kind of waiting every evening to see what someone had coming.
Yeah. So coming into the semi-final now, getting back to the suppose the more serious stuff and what have you. Does John Kiley only kind of name the team maybe the last training session before, and you all there nerve-wracked again, waiting to see your name up on the sheet?
I would imagine it's general practice in a lot of places that the team might be named the night before. So yeah, I mean, you're waiting at that point, I suppose, to know where you stand. And I think that's the unfortunate thing again about the 10 guys not being able to go with you, is that you probably, touch wood, you would progress, but you mightn't see those guys again until the Tuesday night after or something like that, were you to progress through to the next round. So I think that element of it is definitely a highlight for the whole need to have a full panel with you.
Yeah, and I suppose that's something you've tried to really stress. And did Limerick try and contact the GAA again to try and change that? that you know?
I'm not sure what John is on. I know John highlighted in his interview that he had touch base with the GAA and through whatever medium or through the county board or whatever, and had written a very strongly worded email. You know, I don't know what more has come of it. Have they paid much attention to it? But I think it was great that John took the platform to, I suppose, highlight the issue.
Yeah.
You know, I see an awful lot of managers doing it now. Maybe John probably had the platform to do it before the other managers kind of did. You know, he was early on when it was kind of put to him, so it was great that he was able to highlight that. And you know, I'm sure every other manager in the country feels the same. But it's great that it's kind of come to light, and I don't think it's a case of the GAA being selfish. I don't think it's a case of players being selfish. You know, some people might say, what's wrong with you? You know, you're getting hurling when there look like there might be no hurling, or aren't you getting to, you know, playing an All-Ireland semi-final or a Munster final or any game? But I don't think it's a case of much wants more. I think it certainly isn't a threat to anyone to have 10 extra guys in an 82,000 seater stadium. You know, or wherever it may be. So I just think it's not a case of greed or people, you know, much wanting more. It's a case of people just looking for fairness, and it also makes sense from a public health, you know, public health side of things as well. Like that, no one would really be endangered from an extra 10 bodies entering the grounds like that. So I think, you know, I don't think it's that big of an ask.
Yeah, and coming into a game like this, do you get excited, focused? What way are you coming into big games like this?
To be honest, I don't pay too much. You know, there's still 4 or 5 days to go before you even get to travel to Dublin. I don't mind play the game. So I mean, you'd burn yourself out getting too into it. But I suppose, you know, you have to give yourself to training and make sure you're best prepared to be as fresh as you can during the week and do everything that you would do any other week, you know. I think routine is a big thing for a lot of people now, and I suppose not making too much of any one occasion, whether it be first round game, a final, semi-final, anything that it might be, is that you know, you stick to what you do and what works for you. And if you're someone who doesn't like to think about it at all, then that's what you should do. And if there's players, I'm sure, who need to get themselves in a frame of mind, then that's what they need to do. But for me, to be honest, I don't pay much heed to it outside of training until it's time to go.
And what sort of a game are you expecting against Galway? Just physical sort of a match?
Yeah, of course. Like you're on about a team that won the All-Ireland 17, or a puck of a ball away from equalising or beating us in 18, and only for, you know, some mad stipulations in 19 in Kilkenny and Wexford drawing that they didn't get out. Had they got out of the Leinster Championship, they probably would have been favourites for the All-Ireland. So I mean, that's the type of team you're talking about, incredibly seasoned, talented and physical hurlers. So I mean, it's every day that we've gone out, it has been a huge challenge. You're coming up against teams similar to that, so it's going to be no different to that.
Well, brilliant stuff, and best of luck in the match, Will. Appreciate it.
Cheers, Shane. Thanks very much. Great chat.